Hello everybody, I am the Helpful Witch, and today we have some breaking news regarding Hogwarts Legacy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and now let's jump straight into the video. Hogwarts Legacy have just confirmed that Phineas Black is going to be the Headmaster during our time at Hogwarts, as well as lots of other characters and voices that have been confirmed through the latest blog post in the Wizarding World website. The first people being confirmed are the people voicing our main character. This would be Sebastian Croft and Amelia Grething, our two actors, and they will give the voice 1 and voice 2, to our characters that we have seen previously in the showcases as well in the trailers. So these are the two actors that have done the two voices for our main character. Now we pass on to more juicy reveals, which not only confirm our professors but also some of our classmates. The first one that I think a lot of people will be interested in is Professor Matilda Weasley. So she will be played by Leslie Nichol, and this is an award-winning actress. And so now we have confirmed who is going to be the Weasley person, who is actually the person giving us the sorting hat. So we've seen them before, but now we know their names as well, which is Professor Matilda Weasley. Then, interestingly, they've actually confirmed 2 Ravenclaw students, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. The first is that we've actually not heard many Ravenclaw students being released or being presented by their channels for a long time. We had, after a big talk about will we have a Ravenclaw companion, one that was called Classmates, so we're still not sure. But now we have 2 new Ravenclaw classmates being released. The first one is being voiced by Luke Youngblood. Now, long-standing fans of the Harry Potter series will probably recognize this name because this is actually the actor who played Lee Jordan in the Harry Potter movies. So we know that this is not his first rodeo with the lore and the world of Harry Potter, and it's gonna be very cool to see him coming back to the series. The next Ravenclaw is going to be played by Asif Ali, who is actually going to be playing a character very similar to the one of Hermione Granger, being a Muggle-born student that actually is very studious and enjoys studying quite a lot, like we've seen Hermione Granger doing. I'm interested to see if this might be my favorite character, as I really loved Hermione in the movies as well as Luna, so this kind of brings the best of both worlds, being a Ravenclaw but still very studious, and being Muggle-born, so probably being very interested in all the new magical things that they can learn at Hogwarts. The next character, and should I say characters, is actually both Natsize and her mother, the divination professor, are both being played by Kendris Kane, who is another actress, and she's going to be playing a dual role, playing both the mother and the daughter of the On Ice family. Next we have the astronomy professor, voiced by Song Kapla. I am super bad with names, I do want to point this out. I'm sure you've already picked up on it, but I'm very bad at saying anybody's name, so this is not the best video for me to record, but I'm trying my best. Anyways, she's going to be playing the astronomy professor, which is very interesting again because we've not really had a full astronomy class being confirmed. We know astronomy has been in the books, and we know it's a subject, but we weren't really sure if we were going to be using it or doing much with it. And if they just announced a character with a actress playing it, it most likely means that this is going to be quite important to the story. I do want to point this out as well. I think it's interesting to start thinking about all of these characters that are being announced, because if we have important actors or famous actors voicing all of these characters, probably means that they will probably play a bigger role in the story, I would assume. Next, this is actually a voice that we've already heard, and this is from Jason Anthony, who is going to be voicing Headless Nick that we heard in the second trailer. And lastly, he will be also voicing the Sorting Hat. I find this very interesting pairing, but also I'm very excited for the Sorting Hat to have a voice and hopefully not just scream the house name of the one we choose, but also to sing a song like in the first Harry Potter books the Sorting Hat used to do. I always found them very funny, and also they were very telling about what the story was going to be like. The Sorting Hat seemed to have a sixth sense on what was actually going to happen, predicting Voldemort returns and dark times, so I think it would be very interesting if we actually get a song from the Sorting Hat. Now, the last and maybe biggest voice is actually going to be the Headmaster Black, voiced by Simon Pegg. Now, he is a very big actor and comedian. He's a British actor. Probably a lot of you know him from roles like in Mission Impossible, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, but also he voiced Buck from the Ice Age. So a lot of different roles in a lot of different films, so I'm sure most of you have seen him. And now they've also released a very interesting interview with Simon where he goes through all of his, thought process for this character and what this character is actually going to be like. I think actually this interview has given us a lot because he's talking about, of course, the Headmaster, so now we know a bit more about him, but also we can start to imagine that he will play a bigger role into the story than we maybe previously thought. One of the things that he mentions and that we know of as well from the books is that he is not super fond of students. We hear him actually recording a couple of voice lines, and I do want to point out a few themes that we see. A couple of times we see him dismissing students, especially after we've probably been sorted, because there is actually a stool in the back of the Great Hall, so I think this is going to be after we get sorted. I believe everybody is still a bit surprised and shocked and not sure what to do, and the Headmaster just wants everybody to get out of the Great Hall and just start going into their common rooms. So we see him dismissing everybody, and I believe this is going to be at the beginning, just after we get sorted. We also hear a couple more lines showing his dislike for students and professor throughout the interview, and some dialogue that actually implies that he was made headmaster by the ministry. Now, I'm just playing it here, but maybe look out next week for a video about the ministry that was supposed to go out today, but given all of this breaking news, I recorded this video very late at night. So yeah, next week we're going to be talking about the ministry, unless something else happens, I guess. But yeah, so it was interesting that they finally mentioned the ministry, so I'll be trying to keep an eye for that. Anyways, another line also that I think is very interesting is that he mentions that he wants his shoes to be better shined. Now, I find this interesting because I think this is a line that he says towards Anau's health. I find that very probable because he is a pure blood, and the Black House has also been known to have house elves for a long time. We've met Creature, which was the house elf during Sirius Black's time and Harry Potter's time. But this could possibly be him talking to Deke, the house elf we've seen already, or maybe some other house elves that we don't know, and we'll meet more house elves during our time at Hogwarts. But I found it very interesting and very telling of his character, the way he was talking to whoever was shining his shoes. Now, in a previous episode, we actually talked about all of the professors, and I still stand by what I said in that video. We already said that Black was going to be the headmaster. Previously, before we had a bit more confirmation and a bit more context, there were some speculation that Black could have been also the professor of potion, but they confirmed that quite a while ago, saying that that was going to be Professor Sharp. At the beginning, when we first saw the video, of course, Professor Sharp actually looks a lot like Sirius Black, so we thought that it could have been one of his ancestors. And the name of Professor Black was actually leaked a long time ago, therefore we knew we were gonna get a Professor Black at some point. And if it wasn't going to be the potion master, then it was probably going to be the headmaster. So there you go, we have now confirmed that the headmaster is Professor Black. Again, we already probably knew this, but it's nice to have another bit confirmed and know that we were right. So for anybody who's not actually aware, and I say this because a lot of people actually in the comments have seen they have not read the Harry Potter books, they've only seen the movies, which is totally fine. I do advise reading the books, they're very nice, I really enjoyed them. If you have some time to kill, especially now between now and the release of Hogwarts Legacy, especially if you're getting one of the versions that is going to be released towards April or June, I do suggest you check out the books. There is also lots of audiobooks online, people reading them on YouTube while they're waiting for Hogwarts Legacy. Lots of charity shops, at least in the UK, have them as well, so yeah, try and find a copy if you haven't read it. But without spoiling too much, we've actually met Professor Black, Professor Nigilius Black, which, of course, at the point of Harry Potter would have been long dead. So we've actually met him through a painting. Now, I'm not gonna spoil again too much for the people that haven't read the books, but for the people that have, we know already the character of Professor Black. He's not going to be a person that is really helpful or really willing to help anybody. He's quite lazy and not really willing to cooperate cooperate or help our golden trio until he's basically forced to. And this is actually a confirmation of what we already seen in the books in a tweet from Hogwarts Legacy as well, where they confirm that this is still the character or the personality of Professor Black. So we're already kind of familiar, and it's gonna be interesting to see more about him. He was actually the last Slytherin headmaster before Snape took over after Dumbledore leaves. Let's just say that again for people that maybe are a bit too new from the fandom and don't know much about the Harry Potter stuff. Let's just leave it at that. Anyways, basically he's the last Slytherin headmaster. He's the worst headmaster in history, and I believe this is gonna be across students and professors. I believe also the professors are not gonna like him, not just the students, because he clearly doesn't care about neither of them. But I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do with this character. I think there is quite a lot of room, especially because we know that we're gonna dislike him, so they can go ham and just make us dislike it as much as we possibly can. But very interestingly, in the Wizarding World blog post, they actually said, in the game we learn about how it got such a bad reputation in Hogwarts history. So I think this is gonna be even more interesting, because I think there's gonna be probably one thing he would do to make him so unlikable. Maybe we'll have a choice to save us or not at the end, and he's decide not to. Or maybe he's just very mean to a lot of students. We've seen also in the tweet they refer to pure blood, so I wonder if it's gonna be kind of like a Voldemort situation where he only cares about pure bloods and he's gonna treat different bloods differently during the school. Maybe again we instead will have a choice of whether to help the students or not, whether to stand up for them or not. So yeah, I think they have a lot of possibilities with this headmaster, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what they are going to do, especially because I guess we're going to see why it's the least liked. What do you think is the reason why it's the least liked? Do you think we're going to see it? Do you think it's just going to be because he doesn't care about the students? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But yeah, this is the breaking news. The breaking news is all of these new reveals of all of the characters, confirmations, and also actors confirmations. I have to say I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with the mocap and just how the characters are going to feel, because we've actually seen that games have started to change from hiring random actors to actually starting to hire quite high ticket actors for their video games. One of the examples that now comes to mind is Callisto Protocol, just because it released recently and that's the freshest one in my mind. But also the Quarry from Supermassive Game had quite a few bigger names in it, as well as the Supermassive games in the Dark Picture anthology as well have had few very big names in them. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see if that will feel like a big difference between the characters that are played by big actors and the ones that aren't. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Who is gonna be your favorite character as well? If you already think you have one, I'm interested to hear that as well. And if you have enjoyed this video, please, I would really appreciate you subscribing, as well as if you've seen already one of my previous videos, I would appreciate you subscribing so that you can actually get all my new videos out as well. I'm quite a small YouTuber, so it's very difficult for my videos to be recommended from the algorithm. So if you do enjoy them and if you want to see more, please subscribe, because that would be one of the easiest ways for you to ensure that you see the next videos coming out. Also, lastly, a big thank you to everybody who's been supporting me and commenting. I've seen quite a few people commenting already in many of my videos and subscribing, so I really appreciate if you're returning viewers. I appreciate also if you're new viewers. I love talking with you guys as well in the comments below, so definitely leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. I will answer. I'm very curious to see what everybody's thinking. But other than that, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for reaching the end of another video. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!